so that's then loading up, and first with the demo, and then it'll run through all the tests basically on this one for on the 3D Mark that it has, and these include graphics tests and physics tests for the processor as well. Okay, so the next one is this is mainly for entertainment, basically. I mean, these are both demo ones. We'll get on to the real tests in a minute. But the visual settings are fixed to the basic edition on this one. So there you go. Okay, this is the first graphics test, and with this one it's light sources with many casting shadows in the scene, volumetric lighting, illuminate cloudy water, post-processing is used in this. Graphics test 2, few lights cast shadows, volumetric lighting, cloudy water, tessellation on the structures, corals, rock and seabed, post-processing adds depth of field and other camera lens effects. So the Quadro K5200s, running this at around about 16 frames per second on full HD, and every setting maxed on that. And the other one's running it, which is the two K2200s, are running it at about 9.7. This is the third graphic test. So on this one it features tessellation on the pillars, statues and some of the vegetation, volumetric lighting from the sun cast shadows in the scene, post-processing adds depth of field and other lens effects. Again, the K5200's running at sort of 15-16 frames per second, and the two K2200s are running at around about 7 to 8 frames per second on this one. Okay, now we move on to graphics test 4. This one, the test features tessellation on the pillars, statues and some of the vegetation. There's volumetric lighting and multiple light sources with several casting shadows. Post-pressing adds various camera lens effects on this test. K5200 running at about 8.3 frames per second, and on the dual K2200s we're running at about 4.9, maybe up to 5. In fact, from 4 to 5. In fact, we're down to 3. Okay, this is the next test on it is the physics test, and this is very much a processor test on this one. And you'll see that the processor, you can just see the difference actually on that. But this test focuses on the processors. And that was about, I think it was about 40 frames per second on the K5200. And it was about, and it's 26.5, 27 on the two K2200s. And I guess if it's a processor, then you're on an E5 2637 4-core, against a E5 1650 V3, which is a 6-core. The next test combines CPU and GPU. The CPU handles the rigid body physics, while the GPU is tasked with the volumetric lighting, tessellation, post-processing, as well as simulating soft body physics using direct compute. So you've got the K5200 on this running at about sort of 10 frames per second, and on the dual K2200s with the E5 2637 V3 you're running at, what's that, about 5.7, so under half the speed on it. And that's it, we're done on the one on the right hand side, which is the T5810 with the K5200 in it. And if we just wait a second, and then we can just compare the scores on that. Okay, that's both done, so I'm just going to flip it on standby and then I'll zoom in on the scores on each one. Okay, so the first one I'm doing is running through the scores on the machine on the left hand side, the T7910, and that's the one which has the dual 4GB Nvidia Quadro K2200 cards in it. Now, as you can see hopefully from there, the graphics score on that is 1533, the physics score is 9383, and the combined score is 2016. And you can see there it's got the two cards, the K2200s on it, and of course the CPU, which is the E5 2637V3 running at 3.5 gigahertz. And now I'm just going to flip over to the one on the right hand side. Okay, on the right hand side we're looking at the T5810, and that's the one with the Nvidia Quadro K5200 in it. So the graphics score is 3137 as compared to 1533, so basically it's twice, it's double on the K5200 compared to dual K2200s, I'm sorry. And then on the physics score, it's still a difference, but not quite a bigger difference. On the K2200s, it's on 9383, I think that is. And if you have a look at it on the one with the K5200 in, it's on 11855. So what's that? That's probably about, 20, maybe 30% actually, the difference on that. So the T5810 is much faster on the physics as well by about 30%. And then on the combined score, which is the processor and the graphics, which was the last one at the end, the last test we did on that. And on this one, the one with the K5200 in, were 3650, and the one we just looked at previously, which is the one with the two K2200s in it, that's 2016. So almost, that's exactly 30% increase in that. So basically with these, it's really measuring, it's not so much the memory, it's definitely the processor and the graphics. And probably more than anything it's the graphics. And as you can see, it's with the K5200 in, you're getting about double the results on this particular benchmark, the 3D Mark 11 Advanced Edition, as compared to having dual K2200 cards in it. So I hope that's of interest and been informative, and thank you very much if you've watched this far. Thank you.